Welcome to a new test and teardown video. Here is a galvanometer amplifier. It looks like it's an analog gain stage with 6 channels, and the model is called T6GA500. I haven't yet figured out, let's get a little bit more light here so we can see what's going on. So I haven't yet figured out exactly what's going on here, because we got different sensors, probably called M1000, and here it's 600 hertz and 125 millimeters. What is that? So that means different, see, 2 kilohertz, 4.8 kilohertz. So that means different millimeters. Is that relative to the sensors or something like that? And see, those 3 labels, they are the same over here, right? So what the heck is this doing? But I haven't got any of the sensors or any other things here. So the only thing that I think we can do is just open and have a little look at the design and the build. And yeah, I don't think we can try anything really, unless whatever, let's see what we find. So that's the output connector. Holy moly, that is one nice special. This is a classic military sort of connector, those round multi-connectors. And then that is just normal XLR connectors for the input. And there are Canon, and here is a little bit more explanation on this. So it says Honeywell, and we got the serial number, we got the full model number. We can't really see a lot more here what's going on. It's funny to see all those many screws here on the top. And what have we got here? Some little air vents. Yeah, we got the same on the back, on the bottom. So it's a slide-in sort of case. I think I'm not the smartest today. I started to unscrew all those millions of screws on the top, and I got the idea this looks a little bit wrong. So let's look at the bottom. Ha ha! Only 4 screws here at the edge. This looks a little bit more like it, right? Did you expect this? What the heck is going on in here? I really don't know exactly why we have this mega big transformer. I mean, this is like 150, maybe 200 watts. I mean, it's really big. And then individual secondary windings, and they go all the way here. And this board is not doing anything, right? We don't have any components on this board. This is only just to change the wires, or maybe. Look at that, isn't that just weird? Why would you do that? And then the wires just goes from the transformer here, and then they go, obviously, to all the diodes. So different little rectifiers, and then there's a little resistor down there. And then probably this goes then to all the 6 capacitors. So that will be, of course, all our DC supplies for each of the individual isolated amplifiers. They're completely isolated, each of the circuits, right? See? There's a little amplifier like that. It looks like there's even a little shield going on here. Let's look a little bit more on that in a second. I want to take out this board so we can see some more. But it is absolutely amazing. I really didn't see this coming. Oh, there's another power transistor down there. Maybe this has something to do with the power supply. We can't really see what's going on. It is, of course, located down there to better be the thermal design is better down there compared to being up here. And this board here is 3 millimeter thick. It's a really thick single-sided board, and this is a really nice old germanium transistor, I would guess. I will have to look this up. And 2N, what is that? 1395, I guess. How old is this unit? Can we? No, we cannot see anything like that. Oh, maybe it's written. Yes, look at that. 64. So it's 1964 amplifier box. Oh, what the heck is this? I can't really use this for anything at all. But there, oh yeah, I found this. This is the mains on-off switch. And every time you push it, see, now it's on, off. Don't you just love this? Just push it on and off. I think this is a very complex way to do this. And it's also very big. It's difficult to focus on something that is behind the wires here. You always want to focus on the wrong things. So that is what we got here. This explains all those different screws to hold down the power resistors. So they're filtering and isolating and preventing high AC currents from the transformer to the rectifier to the capacitors by using series resistors. That is a little bit amazing, but it's actually a really good idea. Maybe they're using a parallel regulator instead of a series regulator. That is how it was done back in the 60s. I've seen this many times, and they kind of just copied the ideas from the old neon regulators. Oh, parallel regulators, diodes, or stuff like that. That is what we need. And of course, you need a drop resistor to do that. But this is a pretty good idea. And the capacitors, they're quite far away, and this is a good thermal design. Also, I wanted to look a little bit more on the diodes here. This is also a pretty good idea to mount them like this. It's also a good thermal design. And there's, of course, this explains why we have the holes in the cabinet like this too. It's ventilated pretty good here. Yeah, let's look a little bit more at the amplifiers. So the transistor here, the 2N1395, that is a vintage PNP Germanium transistor from about 1958 or something like that, end of the 50s. And it was discontinued in 1970 or something like that, right? And if we look at the other one, I was looking at the wrong side. It is called a... Oh, man, it's always difficult with the light. Here we go. This one is better. The GE421 is also a vintage germanium transistor. And it's also from the same age, about the end of the 50s to the start of the 70s. Oh, that is a Zener diode, isn't it? So there is some sort of a Zener diode regulator or something like that. I think we should just try and pull out those two transistors and do a little test and see if they're still good, because I can't really do anything with this as it is anyway. It's fun to measure those and see if they work. By the way, those transistors, if you find them in some sort of stuff that is difficult to repair or is acting up real weird, those transistors are famous for the internal tin whiskers. So that is why they were, of course, replaced. Let's try and test this little transistor here. I pulled out one of them, and oh yeah, I forgot to say it's a 4-pin transistor. Really? No, it's just a not connected pin for stability, I think, right? So here we go with our nice little vintage PNP transistor, and we got plenty of gain and quite low forward voltage. This is a classic for Germanium, of course. And here is the GE421. And let's plug it into my little tester. And look at that. It's got quite a lot more gain and also Germanium low voltage. But look at that. It's an NPN transistor. So my fancy smancy AI searcher told me a goddamn lie. So I was searching first for a this transistor here, and it came up with this Germanium, and normally Germanium transistors, they are PNP. So when I search for another Germanium transistor, it just figured out, hey, we're not gonna search anything, we're just gonna invent some bogus kind of whatever we want to do and just present this as the truth. I'm a little bit sick and tired of this, actually. So remember, always in your searcher, tell it to double check and verify and prove by linking to sources. I mean, it's just inventing all sorts of BS. I mean, so that is more or less all I wanted to show about this old 1960 galvanometer amplifier. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you had a little bit of fun anyways. Bye bye.